What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Mario Kart Wii World Cup 2021, hosted by Endgame TV. Thanks for waking up early with us. It should be an exciting one as we have a semifinals match here, a battle in the Pacific between Australia and Japan. And here to join me today is my co-commentator, Signal.
Good morning, everyone. Or good afternoon if you're a European. How's it going? How's it going for you today, Mac?
Pretty good. Just got up about half an hour ago to get on this cast. It should be a really fun match. I was really excited to see this one, so gotta set the alarm for it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's one of those that you just can't miss. Two huge teams.
Yeah, both these teams they've been exceeding expectations so far, I'd say. Australia, of course, defeating US South during the group stages, and Japan with two pretty big wins against Norway to get here. I think both these teams have something to prove and are excited to potentially play in the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to be playing at an extremely high level to be able to make this stage. And like you mentioned, the teams that they beat, like I was predicting Norway to be in like this stage, maybe even the finals. So hugely impressive for Japan to make their way past them. And you see Australia kind of going into this. I don't think anyone would have put them past quarters. So seeing them get to this stage is really cool to see.
Yeah, they're able to, I believe it was Germany they played, able to put them away in 2 matches. And yeah, honestly, I was not expecting this much from Team Australia. Of course, they have some really strong players who have a lot of experience. But yeah, this is a stage that they've never seen before. So excited to see how they're able to perform.
We do have the bracket right now. Yeah, we see. So Japan were able to take out Norway. I believe that was that a 2-0 game?
Yeah, everything so far has been in 2-0.
Okay, so pretty dominant performances from all our semi-final teams. Kind of what you would expect to see from the teams in this stage.
Yeah, everyone so far has been really putting up great numbers, and tomorrow we've got US North versus England to see who ends up playing the winner of this one, and it should be a pretty exciting bracket so far going into these next few. But let's go straight into these lineups here. So for Team Japan, we've got Azmak, Jan, Hiduke, and Type and Sebas bagging. For Australia, we've got Verly, Barry, Nuclear, Solar, and Locky. Signal, what are your thoughts on this Australia team so far this year?
Well, I think obviously the main thing to know with Australia is how that they've had Solar and Locky kind of rotating between bagging and running. And it's been working out for them. Like, you don't see teams with you don't see a team with 2 people who are equally as confident, both running and bagging, like most of the time. And it's kind of allowed them to play certain tracks in a certain way, obviously with Solar being the Daisy player. Having him running on the certain tracks, like, just gives them an extra like boost, which makes things a lot like harder to play against for the opponent.
Yeah, Solar and Locky, I mean, I think their idea is Solar bags the more tech-heavy tracks, and then Locky does the more circuit ones, just based on how they play and what they think their strengths are. I believe that's how they've been doing it, and then Verly, Nuclear, and Barry just consistently running. And I think a lot of people have been excited to watch Barry this year so far. He's been doing a fantastic job. Of course, with that huge, I think it was 140 versus Team Germany in the first round, has really been surprising people this year.
Very, like, it's crazy to see the amount of improvement from Barry. He's kind of, like, I think he's finally going to become one of those household names that you see in this community. And his scores and his performances have been nothing short of just incredible this whole World Cup.
Yeah, and then that paired with the experience from Verly and Nuclear, both playing currently in Division 1 with Velicor. This team really is pretty well-rounded. And not too many people really were expecting this team to make it to the stage, but they've been really resilient, and they've just been playing some really consistent Mario Kart, and definitely deserve a spot here.
You look at the individual ability of each of those players, and you associate them all with like very high level gameplay. You don't expect a weak performance from any of these players at any point.
Yeah, and we see right there on the side, they have not played the World Cup since 2017, and really all 3 times they have played, just very subpar results. But now this year going 5-0 with the 289 differential, and Barry averaging 108. I mean, those are pretty big numbers.
That's insane.
So very exciting Australia team to watch today. Now, from the Japan side, originally we were going to be seeing Pachu play. Unfortunately, seems like he's not going to be here. So Asmac, Jan, Haduki, Type, and then Sebas will be their lineup. And we're going right into it. But so Race 1 Coconut Mall, we got Asmac's point of view here. And we're underway. Mario Kart World Cup 2021 semifinals.
See, Asma starting in second, obviously he's probably the kind of standout player of this team. Like you think good Japanese players and you instantly think of Asmac, right?
Yeah, definitely the strongest runner on this team this year, I'd say. Probably the most experienced in 5v5s out of his team. That's usually the one piece that Japan has always lacked in this tournament over the years. But they've been playing a lot more 5v5s lately. Between just inter-squads and against other Japanese teams. But these teams are putting in the practice. They do a lot of scrims now, and it's definitely been paying off because they have been exceeding expectations, like we had said earlier in this tournament.
Yeah, like I feel like I've said this already, but it's interesting to see like 2 teams that you kind of wouldn't expect in this stage facing off against each other.
Yeah, both these teams just really taking down any strong team in their path, and we're already seeing Asmac showing off what he does best right here, running up in first place with a huge break.
Time. The Sola's going forwards though. Looks like it could be an Australia shock being held right now.
Not hitting a car, so definitely going to be an Australia shock. So not sure they're going to be able to use this to get Asmac out of first, but going to try to salvage some 2, 3, 4 spots. We see Verly right there in second, so Australia is pretty much holding their own for the rest of the pack. But Asmac now with this blue is going to make it a lot closer.
Setting back a little bit. Verly coming up right behind him, but his break was just insanely big before that.
Now a shock red maybe over the ramp could end up seeing Verly being able to overtake Asmac. If he does have that, and another blue. So now Verly is going to be first, and yeah, right behind him.
Yeah, Verly and Nuclear just swiped top 2.
So it looks like 3, 4, 5 here for Japan. See if Australia can use a late shock to maybe pass those middle spots once top 2 crosses. And 3, 4, 5 for Japan, but a winning race off the bat for Australia with the help of a couple blue shells. And that's going to put them in an early lead.
I mean, Asmac just already showing his dominance. Like in the front, it's safe to say that he's the fastest player in this room, and once he gets to first, it's impossible to catch him unless you get like the really fortunate double blue pull.
Yeah, they didn't really have to try to make any fancy plays with that shock that they had pretty early on. But yeah, 2 blues able to take him out. Verly and Nuke top 2, and pretty close race still, all things considered. But I am curious because I can't really speak on it, but I wonder what this lag is like in this room, because for Western players, these 2 regions are kind of notorious for being a bit laggier for us, but I'm sure when they're playing against each other, it might be pretty easy to play.
Well, yeah, I feel like I've heard from like an Australian player that Japanese lag really just doesn't affect them. It's kind of like it's basically the equivalent of 2 European countries playing against each other.
Yeah,
like there's not that much between them. There's not that much ping between the 2 countries. It's obviously a lot easier to play against each other when it's not playing against a team the other side of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Most countries struggle against these 2 teams.
And I don't think Australia really has screamed against Team Japan before. They're really used to playing... All those guys are used to playing against Western players from Europe and North America. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can adapt, maybe. See if there's any noticeable difference for them.
So already we see Solar running this race. So the 2 baggers on Australia have switched around already.
Yeah, we saw Lockie running on that more tech-heavy track in Coconut Mall, and now we're on bit more of a shortcut track, a bit more grass area here, and we see Locky bagging now. So I think that's what we're kind of going to be seeing, how the rotation's going to work. And again, we see Azmac to an early first place now with 2 shrooms.
Kind of pulled the holy grail of Peach Gardens, that first set triple shrooms.
Yeah. And it looks like Types was able to do something similar, so they're going to be top 2. Nice power coordination there. Definitely a Team Japan shot to get Azmac in the air.
Yeah, it looks like the Japanese player in second did lose his shroom, but it's gonna be an early breakaway for Azmac once again. Still looking like they remain in top 2. Jan coming in 4th as well, top 2 4 for Japan. Nuke, it's pretty safe to assume that he probably has like 1 shroom in 3rd.
Yeah, that's pretty likely, but this breakaway from Azmac still having his shroom, and Type's probably chaining boxes now, trying to get a mushroom as well. It's going to be tough for Nuke to break that. And at the same time, you could assume Jan. So. Jan really not using any items right now. Golden in 5th for Barry.
There's a very nice item.
Both baggers still going backwards still. I believe Locky, Locky in 10th.
Locky's in 10th.
Going around the shortcut, so he could have it right here.
Barry getting hit by the red just allows Japan to take top 3. And obviously now that past the shortcut, it's going to be a lot harder to make any ground on Japan here.
See one bagger just falling in with Bill. Still, nobody has it. Likely we're not going to end up seeing one this race. Barry going all up to the bottom and hits Type over the wall.
Huge hit onto Type there.
See, he's able to make a play here on Hadouken to salvage a 2nd place.
Interesting attempt with the green. Doesn't pay off, leaves himself open, but able to take 2nd. That's going to be a top 2, no, sorry, 3rd. Going to be a top 2, 4, 5 for Japan here.
Yeah, still a super dominating race for Japan, but Barry at least alleviated some of that pain with a really nice bomb snipe over that wall. Pretty risky play if he hadn't pulled those triple shrooms right afterwards, but...
hats off, though, Barry.
He's able to pull that off. That's a very nice play early on here.
That's a montage-worthy snipe, for sure. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see how Japan were able to just run a track where if anything, shrooms, like pulling shrooms is the easiest way to win this track. And Japan just able to, I think they were in top 2 for basically the entire race.
Yeah, they were able to get that early lead with those mushrooms. That's kind of the name of the game there in Peach Gardens, especially when it's shockless like we saw. That's just exactly how you're supposed to play it. They did a nice job first set, coordinating, and got the items they needed. So Japan going to take a pretty solid lead there now, 68-54.
Be a nice little Peach Beach pick coming in from Australia. I feel like I've seen a lot of teams picking that recently. In the MKPF matches I was casting last night, we saw I think all 4 teams were picking Peach Beach at one point or another. So,
well, we're going to be seeing it here. See how Japan. We'll see how Japan wants to play with their drafting spots. Pretty common that we see 1-4 able to draft, and also 2 and 5 being able to draft off each other. So, see if they want to take that strat there, or if they want to do some sandbagging. Probably the better play. But we see once again Solar going back now. Oh, excuse me, he almost went around the loop, but we see Locky going back again. Consistent to bagging more of these luck tracks.
It's an early top 2 here for Japan, although not able to break away just yet. It's hard to break away on this track without shrooms, so gonna probably see people coming in from the back around here. Need to just focus on sniping out this top 2 if you're Barry and Nuke here, because they're just gonna break away. Already seen they are very strong drivers.
Yeah, we talked about Azmac being incredibly sound mechanically, but Types is also very much like that. Definitely one of the fastest players in this room, maybe just behind Azmac in that category. But it's going to be hard to break these guys out without getting a blue shell now.
Yeah,
see, the bagging battle is still just absolutely neck and neck.
Kind of hard to like make a play here if you're only pulling bananas. Like no shrooms to make yourself closer, no reds, no just green not able to connect either.
See, Locky using shock there.
Early. And Solar Although Berry getting hit by both of his teammates.
Looks like Asmax holding first. Not sure who got second there between Verly and Types. But if Types is able to hold second, it'll still be a winning race for Japan.
I mean, it's a winning race for Japan regardless, because best spot at worst they got 1-3 and Australia got 8th.
Yeah.
So it's a small winning race. I think I saw Hiduke coming in as 7th, but other than that, it looks like it was pretty good for Japan still. Australia not able to do too much with that shock.
Yeah, saw that bagging battle neck and neck through the entire time. And then Locky just going forwards there, we saw right before the last straight. And Japan won 3-6-7, a small winning race.
Obviously, it's better for either team to just get a foothold in the match early on. It's harder to come back than it is to break away, I'd say. And like,
absolutely.
If you just pile on the points early on, then that puts you in a really good position, and it means that you can kind of just focus on getting average races instead of big races. That's the main difference.
Yeah, it's definitely important to change the mentality of the team you're playing against. It's just trying to dig yourself out of that kind of mental hole if you start getting down a lot of points early on. Like, Japan's probably only up around 20 right now with 9 left. But at this rate, that could translate into some trouble for Australia if they're not able to get a good race here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you kind of the picks of Gardens and Peach Beach not going in Australia's favor, but in the end, it's just been Japan staying in top 2 the entire time and just asserting their dominance up there.
Mm-hmm.
You see a running track coming in as well, so
definitely a Japan pick here with their 1-3 third hopping in the shortcut.
We see Solar bagging this one as well. Early 2-3-4 for Australia. Gotta do everything they can to kind of pressure Asmac out of first. Looks like Verly's doing a pretty good job of that right now.
See Barry here with another bomb, see if he's able to make yet another nice play. And he's just gonna adopt a back it.
I think he might have connected with one of the baggers there, allowing Solar to get closer to him.
Yeah, it looks like Solar failed a strat early on, but now able to catch up to Sebas. And early blue
comes in onto Asmax. That's very unfortunate for Japan. It's going to allow Australia to take top 2 though. They're not able to do anything, but somewhat blocks the cut. That's going to make things a lot more difficult for anyone behind them.
It's like top 2, 4, 5 for Australia.
Very good position to be in on this track. Obviously, only form of catch-up is, well, dodging or taking the cut. And cut doesn't save that much, so...
Bad misplay there by Asmac, avoiding the TC, but that's going to give the top 2 a big break.
It's a very rare driving error to see from Asmac. Can't be making that sort of mistake when the other team are just all around you in top spots.
Still have yet to see either bagger leave that sitting set, so very likely it's still shockless. Berry and Verly, or Verly and Nuclear, excuse me. Just backspamming almost every turn here. Asmac with the blue, probably going to be chaining it here.
Really gets taken out. Throws the blue up before the cannon, which is an interesting play. Hiduke in the bill.
Yeah, probably predicting a possible Australia shock.
Both baggers are still sitting, so it could still be shockless. Berry and a star in third, able to take over Jan.
Still top 2 for Australia after the blue. You see Jan here breaking in.
Jan is still holding on.
Yeah, Berry got a bit of an awkward turn there with that ground star. Probably was able to hold
coming in from Berry. He's going to choose to hold the green. Shot comes in from Australia, allowing them to take top 2, target shocking Jan over the ramp. We see Locky coming in from the back. This could be a huge, well, pretty nice turnaround for Australia. It's going to be bottom 2 for Japan. So it looks like in the end Australia did have the shock, and they used it very well to kind of salvage a bunch of spots at the end.
Yeah, they were able to hold that top 2 for pretty much the majority of the race. And pretty much, I think that's the first time we really kind of saw Australia holding top spots for a majority of the race there.
Yeah, They didn't let Japan just outrun them this time, which is I think going off these early races, it's going to be the team that's in front that are going to be the ones winning the race.
And we see that scoreboard 120 to 124. It is neck and neck here going
very close. 4 points.
And yeah, I think what we've seen so far, most of the time, we're seeing Japan really in a lot of the top spots. I think shot count seems pretty even right now, but I think Australia needs a bit more front presence if they want to kind of overtake Japan. Because, I mean, Sebas is a pretty good bagger, probably more bagging experience than at least Lockie. I know Solar was a pretty good bagger back in the Nintendo Wi-Fi days, but they're gonna need to be holding those top spots a bit more.
Yeah, it's you've got to do something within the first 20 seconds of the race, otherwise Asmak just breaks away. Like there's no stopping that man.
Yeah, he was able to do it on really the first 3 races. Had he would have been on 45 after the first 3 had it not been for those 2 blues on Coconut Mall, but they that seems to be the only way they've been getting Asmak out of the front really so far.
I guess you just got to do whatever you can, even if it is getting lucky. Works. It's gonna get them out. You can't really do anything about 2 blues if you're just running in first for the whole race.
Oh, see Australia getting their pick here. Dry Ruins with their 1-3.
This is a chance for Australia to, as you mentioned, just break away here and stop any potential dominance early on from Japan.
Solar once again bagging on these tech tracks.
Nice little shroom pull for Barry. It's going to be maintaining 1-3 the spots that they started in. Not getting the wall glitch though, and Verly failing it too. That's gonna completely change the spots. It's now Asmak able to break away, and Hiduke coming in right behind in third. Another bomb pull for Barry. He's been liking his bombs today.
We'll see if he's able to get an angle, and he does get another nice throw there. I love those short throw bombs that are able to connect. Those are some of my favorite throws.
It's so nice. Even just seeing one, like both seeing and hitting them, it's just something else.
Solar falling off with the bill. Sebas shrooming through the section where the line is right here, going through the cut. He's going to be getting the next box in 10th. And Asmak now back again in first place. He has just been so strong so far.
It's going to be Jan in second as well. It's 3-5 right now for Australia, but they've just allowed Japan to break away once again.
Yeah, really no ultra takers until now. You see Nuclear taking in 7th. And that's probably not going to be enough to catch into the top 2. Go pull from Barry. We see Sebas, both baggers going forwards. I think Sebas would probably be the one to have it, since it seems like he turned around first.
Yeah, I think.
And and the Solar streaming through cut.
If you're Japan here, you just hold the shock.
Nice drop pow from Types.
Not sure if that was intentional. He was kind of just teleporting a little bit, but nonetheless, it worked out. Still a top 2. Nothing changed up there for Japan.
Very able to block the red, but at what cost?
Flies into the off-road. It's gonna be Pipe getting last, 6-7 for Australia.
I believe Hiduke was able to work himself into 4th, so a top 2-4 for Japan there.
That's a huge race.
Off that unfortunate red avoid from Barry.
It was innovative. I'll give him that.
He had the right idea. But
I don't think he was expecting a wall clip though.
No.
not exactly what you're hoping for if you're Barry there.
So yeah, nice top 2 forward. Japan really didn't have a play for the shock, as they were able to shroom through the cut at the end with their top 2 holding it down.
I think Japan definitely got the momentum in their favor now after that race. I think now it's going to be, if Japan break away now, they are in a really good position for the rest of the match. Obviously, race 6 coming up, they'll be the halfway point of the match. And if they're up, they have the chance to be up around 30 or 40 after this race.
Yeah, still plenty of match left, but if they can take advantage here, they're going to put Australia in a deep, deep hole. And not sure if really Australia has played from behind too many of their matches so far. I think they've been pretty much keeping it super close or had the lead for a majority of their races. So it'll be interesting to see how they're able to pull this off now for the rest of the match.
And obviously, Australia undefeated until this point, so you wouldn't expect to see them down at any point in the match. But
yeah, the loser of this match will be this will be their first loss of the entire tournament for whoever does come up short here.
That's an impressive stat for both teams. Okay, so we're gonna see Berry shrooming up right away. Take Asmac out of first. It's pretty much what you have to do to win the race at this point if you're Australia.
Yeah, able to get into first place early. Definitely the right play.
Okay, this is the fib. And Berry's pretty much got a free run. There's not really any catch-up potential on this track. So, providing he doesn't, you know, like hit a crate or something, he just wins.
See if Japan's maybe able to pull one of their first blue shells of the match.
I quite see who that is.
Got some pressuring there. I think that's 2-3 for Japan.
Yeah, it looks like it. Although we see in Australia, we see Verley up here as well. Asmac holding a bomb and a mega in fifth. Not too sure what he's going to be able to do with these.
Yeah, he's not really near anyone. Playing backing it wouldn't do much.
Verley here though. Berry gets taken out of first. We see someone failing the cut though. It's going to be 2-3-4 for us. No, sorry, 2-3 for Australia.
It's a pretty good bomb attempt there. See if Asmac maybe wants to chain these on the conveyors coming up. Catch up to Verley a bit. And
does come in. TSing Berry in second. Type and Asmac dodging. That's the top two almost guaranteed for Japan now.
Australia's going to be playing for scraps now. Gotta go for the blue shell here.
However, a really nice item to pull, but I think honestly you just chain it there and like you said, go for the blue.
Definitely
can't really do anything without the blue. Blue does come in though. Type's already gone.
See if Type's able to crawl to the line before Berry catches him.
I don't think we have time for a late shock. It's gonna be a top 3 for Japan. Ooh, it's not looking good for Australia right now. Wouldn't expect to see them just getting dominated like this over the past 2 races.
Very strong start to GP2 here for Japan.
I think it's Australia needs to be going into the next race with a completely fresh mindset, and they know that they need a big race now.
Yeah, I'm curious what happened to Berry there at the end of lap 2, because we did see him in first, and provided there's no driving errors, that would have been a pretty nice run for him up until that shock would come. But
we did see Hiduke kind of just pressuring him really nicely, so maybe he just caught up to him and got a snipe off on him, in which case, well played by Hiduke.
Big deficit here for Australia going into the second half of this match. And kind of having the same problems we were saying before. They need to get that front presence, able to kind of work it out there with Berry and Verley up there on TF, but a 9th place shock there from Sebas, and the 8th place Bill, just too strong when used correctly.
And the Mega in 5th from Asmac as well. Very favorable pull. Able to just hold it and run it into a spot which allowed him to take advantage of it.
Yeah, so Australia needs to start putting something together, otherwise they're going to be down 1-0 here. Of course, this is a best-of-3 match, so even after this, plenty of Mario Kart this morning.
Pretty much now or never, though, for Australia. Like, going down 1-0, well, 0-1 in a best-of-3 puts you in a really bad position. You just need to chain essentially 24 good races.
Yeah.
And that's tiring. Being the losing team in a best-of-3 is very tiring.
Yeah, both these teams definitely want to play in front of the big audience here next week in the grand finals, so a lot on the line here for both these squads.
See, Asmac and Type shrooming up early on. A lot of top spots for Japan right now, with Solar kind of hanging on in 3rd.
Yeah, now we see Solar. I think only his second race now running out of 7. So mostly have seen those tech-heavy tracks, and may explain Japan's lead so far.
See Sola coming up here. Does
nice
get
throw by Azmat.
Perfectly thrown there. It's kind of a lot of pressure on Barry now to make a play here or just not get hit. Paduke is going to be spamming his life at him.
Someone's got the shock, not sure who. See pretty much everyone going forwards at this point. And Barry not able to avoid the backspam. Australia in 3 dodges.
It's going to be Japan holding shock most likely. In fact, no, definitely Japan holding shock if anyone.
Yeah, see, there's no play for Japan here with this now early in the star, but
bottom 2 for Australia. They're just falling further and further down.
And Azmak with that snipe, I mean, he is making every play for this team so far. He is absolutely killing it this match.
Azmak is absolutely huge. He's had a very good performance. Very dominant performance. Like, I feel like that's the only word I can really use to describe Azmak right now, actually. Just dominant.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the end of points, he is well ahead so far.
Yeah, that's not that bad of a race for Australia. We see a 1-4 bottom 2. Winning race for Japan, but could have been a lot worse. At least Sola got first. Not sure how he got first, considering Japan would just top everything going into the cut lap 3, but
yeah, I mean,
push play from him.
Australia was able to chain their dodges pretty well there, kind of prevent any play from Japan, and then getting to Shroom to that cut. Solar's just able to get through, but still not going to be enough for them to catch up. They need a winning race here because they're down over 40 now, and with only 5 left, being down any more than 40 with only 1 GP left is going to be a difficult task for any team.
There's little to no pressure on Japan right now as well. They can just kind of chill, and as long as they don't get their backs completely blown out by Australia here, they're just chilling.
Yeah, this is the point in the match where you kind of play a little bit safer. You don't go for as crazy plays. You don't really make too many big risks. And you just kind of try to hold your lead. Even if you get like -3s, -5s, you still just try to play defensively here.
Okay, and we're gonna see BC3 with Sola starting him first. Obviously, the Daisy player expected to take the Ultra and just break away. Though,
yeah, getting another race here running for him.
I can just expect to see you can pretty much expect to see Japan contesting on the Ultra. Although we are gonna see Australia in top 2 early on.
Solar not going for the cut.
Take it, but blocks instead. It's gonna let Azmak be in first, although not having the shrooms to kind of back him up there.
Yeah, it would have been nice if he was able to dodge that pow in the air, but landing from cut, kind of getting an awkward exit, so Verly's going to overtake. And early blue shell once again, this time from the Japanese side.
2-3-4 right now for Australia. Not a bad position by any means. Like, these are race-winning spots.
Well, for lap 1 BC3, this is a pretty close pack. Like, very close. So anything can happen still with that shortcut.
We're going to see Azmak with a shroom in first, though. He's probably going to be able to take the cut and just run away with this.
Unless Solo's able to finesse a block here while he's taking it, but Azmak taking a really quick cut. Tried TSing him on it. I think I would assume that's an Australia shock, trying to TS him.
Some impressive stuff by Azmak there. Really well taken cut. We see Jan coming in as well. It's going to be top 2 for Japan.
Yeah, I really kind of wonder whose shock that was, because it could have been Azmak calling it right when he lands and doing it flawlessly, or it could have been Australia just barely missing a really nice shock.
It's pretty safe to assume that it was going to be an Australia shock, because I'm pretty sure Solo would have taken Ultra if Australia weren't planning on using it there.
Well, we see Lockie here in the last, so maybe a potential second shock for Australia, if that's the case. Barry with the shroom in third.
Barry opts to go for Ultra. Cut is blocked.
Doesn't really have another option here. Cut gets unblocked.
Does make the Ultra barely. Now holding a shroom in second. Barely avoids the greens. He's getting everything thrown at him. Able to chain shrooms.
Target POW. Burley's up here now too. Nice POW there. I think that was Jan's POW.
Barry can connect with these reds then.
And he does.
Connect. That's 2-3. Looks like... I think that's a 2-3 fall for Australia.
I actually don't even know who that was in third, but
Barry
looks
think
like he
it
got
was
streamed
Nuclear
past
that came
the
up.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2-3-4 for Australia. Yeah. Barry just some really good red throws predicting Jan's lag.
Barry
that was
played
pretty
the
scary.
race very well. Made Ultra twice, and it was able to red Jan off at the end. Solar getting 6th. Kind of not what you'd expect from a Daisy player getting a lower spot. However, I think that's the sort of race that, like, it's obviously not ideal for Australia to get a small winning race, but you just need every win that you can get at this point if you're Australia.
And a 52-point GP for Azmac right now on 94 after 2 GPs, absolutely crushing it.
Crazy.
With the next high score being Verley at 72, which, I mean, is a high score in itself, but 94 is just astronomical after only 8 races.
Really Mr. Consistent right now with a double 36.
Now, I believe we have a troll.
Uh-oh.
With Locky starring a Japanese player in the cut. So we'll get a verdict on that soon. I believe that's going to be a definite -20, though. I'll get the GIF in the chat. Hopefully I don't get banned, but I think I did.
A star in cut is, well, hitting a runner with a star is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be a -20.
I'll go ahead and just confirm that that's a hard -20 there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, GIFs in chat for all the for the viewers to take a look at, but definitely a -20 off the MKPS rule set.
It'd be a pretty big blow to Australia then. That's kind of pushing them further away from the victory that they're hoping for here.
Yes, that's going to put them down 54, and I mean, if any team's going to all run, it's going to be this Australia team. All 5 of these guys are very capable of competing with this Japanese team, so maybe you're going to see that if they get super cornered, but I think at 54 they might just keep Sui bagging the first few races.
Obviously, they know that it's a huge risk to all run. On most tracks, it's pretty much unwinnable to all run if the other team is bagging. So
yeah, it might just depend on if they get their track picks. Might see like some Ghost Valleys, some GCN Mario circuits.
We see 2-3 right now for Australia. It's going to be... I would assume this is a Japan pick, them starting in even spots. Type gets a nice back spam off onto Verley there as well.
Barely missing his snipe.
Interesting to see Solar running this one. I saw the track where you'd kind of expect him to bag.
Yeah, there's a good amount of strats here going backwards, and we're usually been seeing Locky go back on some of the more simple tracks.
Little mistake there from Barry, stopping him from taking the rail cut.
As might be able to get his way into second.
Hype is...
Sebas getting a box in 10th here.
Types has kind of gone in first already. Again, we see this dominance at the front from Japan.
At this point in the bagging battle, it's going to be pretty hard for Locky to catch up, assuming that no strats are really failed.
I think, as you said that, one of the baggers first respawn, so it's
the best,
right now. I think Japan just keep it shockless here, though. That's in their best interest to just keep themselves ahead.
So this pack is still very, very close. Azmac able to work into a shroom in one.
And a shroom in first.
And yeah, that bagging battle is super close now after that respawn fail from Sebas. And one bagger going forwards. Definitely going to be someone having the shock. Hopefully we'll get a name tag on that soon.
Kind of hard to tell who's where when, you know, baggers are so separate from the pack.
Yeah, Hideki right now needs to really play aggressively here, I think. He's got to get Azmac the big break just in case that is that Australia holding shock. that lead is not safe at all. Barry with another bomb. He's had his opportunities, and he's hit 2 of them so far.
It is going to be Japan holding the shock, though, with Lucky running ahead of the Australian players here. Not sure about the decision to trail this bomb, but...
There's the blue. Azmac can be able to dodge it.
Blue comes in really late. We see someone in a bill. Maybe a bomb snipe here from Berry. Barely misses Hadouken, but it's not really going to change anything as they're just able to run in top 2.
All target POW. Japan getting all the Australian members after set. See if it changes the spots up at all. And Jan's going to get in the 5th with that bill.
Oh, that's a huge pull.
So it looks like Japan was probably bottom. I think they were bottom 2 going into that last ramp. Protected their top 2, using the shock after they crossed and getting themselves into set. And Jan getting about the best pull he could have gotten. And Azmac with another 1st place on top of that.
He pulled that bill last set after the shock. That's disgusting. So having a bill after shock. Okay, he takes 6. That's a top 2 6-8 for Japan. It's kind of all they really need right now is these small races.
Yeah. That should be enough to put a lot of pressure on Australia. Now up 59, including the penalty. So at this point, they'll have to win each race by at least 20, which is like top 2 4-5s and top 3s. So at this point, if you're Australia, you have to think about all running. Because there's obviously there's no bonus point here anymore.
Gotta go big. Let's go big or go home.
Hey, Mac. Signal.
How
are we doing? I have one question in going into this. Really, is what has stood out for y'all in terms of the performance from Japan versus Australia here? What has felt like the key difference? Kind of, I mean, obviously, very little races to go, and I think Japan, if they win this race, more or less secure it. What feels like what's been the difference between the two here?
That difference, I think, has been unbelievable. He has been in a top 2 spot every single race for a majority of the race.
Yeah. I wanted to just reply with Azmac to your question there, because ultimately he's been the star of the show.
I mean, he's at, what, 109 after 9 races? I mean, that is... You wish for 109 after 12. And this guy's got almost an entire GP left to keep adding to it. He has just been unstoppable today. Australia has not found a counter.
It's insane. Yeah. How could we consider otherwise, really? Azmac and balling out, as we will.
So, and Japan has been a team that's been rotating their lineups a lot. We saw in the Norway match, they used 2 completely different lineups, matches 1 and 2. So we'll see what they do for match 2, but I'm sure Azmac will be a part of it regardless.
Yeah, I don't see them.
We could see maybe... We could see like a bagging change, or maybe Yasuo's had a major part in these lineups. Could see him in the next match, but
okay. All that
I'm sure we'll see Azmac.
All that said, you know, the likelihood of Australia like being able to have a chance here, low, but they are in a situation that does benefit them. They were able to get the blue shell and now have top 2, so
yeah,
we are in the world of remote possibility here, maybe.
And I believe Solar probably has shot. See him going forwards there. Maybe staying away from Sebas. He's just kind of sticking on the side there.
Looks like
so if Australia
right now until Nuke gets hit out.
Ooh,
Barry hitting that
fib. Into the fib. Lucky to not hit his teammate with the green as well. He takes out a Japanese member with that.
Shock? Yeah, that had to come in.
Shot comes in. Nuclear dodging. Kind of far away from the pack.
Oh, I think they got a shock right onto Lucky though. Yeah.
Australia was only 5, 6, 7.
What was in the script?
Shroom as well. That'll probably be GG, unless Nuclear pulls off some nutty play here.
Well, Nuclear able to swim as well, getting first.
That's going to be 1 fall. And maybe, I think it looks like 5th as well for Australia.
Yeah, I think 1, 4, 5, 7. So, a slight winning race for Australia.
That's you need to be doing better than okay here, though. It's just not enough. Not enough.
Yeah, they needed a big one there. 2
races to go now.
Well, it looks like Australia was kind of had a lot of control in that race, beginning of lap 3, and then kind of lost it around that boost panel section, forcing them to use that shock. And with only 1 dodger and everyone else just kind of on the boost, it really doesn't do too much. but enough to secure a race win. But it is not looking good for this Australia team.
Yeah, you
Still
can
with a
only
54-point deficit.
you can only assume that Japan got a shock red out onto first. Like,
Yeah.
there's no other way that he lost
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. He absolutely
I
got
couldn't
right
see him
there
losing it.
around that corner. And like, if it wasn't for that, I wonder, if he would have been able to get like the item and start back spamming. Like, they have a world of being able to come back, but like now it feels like a bit too much, right? I mean, around just short of a 50-point deficit. You have to get a track that everything goes perfectly for you. I can definitely expect, a circuit, yeah.
Yeah, you need to just go with the circuit strat here, and
So it might be an
honestly,
all run if they get their track. It could be an all run.
Yeah.
54
I was about to
points
say
is
that.
it is possible. 2 top 4s as a 62-point differential.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, but
with the
Waluigi
bagging,
Stadium is the pick there. Mac, do you all run here still?
Nah.
I don't think you can. You just got to go for a really good race Sui bagging because this TS spot is way too strong. And if you have
Yeah,
uncontested
Sierra's
bagging,
just
it'll happen to you
it's
twice.
so ugly.
Right. Well, they have to pray now. It's
Solo
really
going
now
back.
or never.
Yeah, it's just they've been going like further and further down. Japan just able to keep their momentum and break away almost every race.
Yeah, it seems like Japan's gotten the majority of the track picks. I don't have an exact count, but just based on kind of the pattern we're seeing here with their spots, they've been able to get a good amount of them. And both teams have commented, specifically Australia has commented on trying to get these track picks to hold control of the wars. How important that is.
I mean,
you can see how
well,
it's affecting their score.
You see on a Japanese track pick, Australia top 4 right now. So
One thing
very good position.
One thing I will point out just now is Azmat in a comfortable fourth or fifth place and just runs into the wall, like drifts to the right, and maybe that's a controller flub, but that might be a sign of Japan having shock, trying to search for a dodge or something like that.
Well, we do see Sebas in 10th.
Barry gets forced into his mega. He could have definitely made a play with that early on in the race. Like I was expecting him to kind of schlag with that on the last turn of lap 1. That would have allowed Japan to break away.
Japan double dodging now.
It's a Japanese shock. Yeah, they get the TS off. They dodge Hideuka into first, Azmak into second with triple shurians. Yeah.
And
It's looking like curtains. I mean, maybe they get Goldens in fifth. Maybe they're able to bring it back, but Japan, they should be able to hold their spot, I imagine, here. Unless everything goes to hell here.
if Solar can get a last-second shock and Japan gets double TS, it is possible to get a nice race, but this is going to be an uphill battle now with Azmak once again assuming first.
It's just going to be top 2 for Japan here, and that wraps
And that's
up the
going to wrap it up.
Yeah, that's a pretty comfortable win for Japan here. A lot less, like a lot more spread out than I'd expect.
Yeah, for sure. I think just like the beginning of the race, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like Australia were in a solid amount of top spots there, but not able to keep it up after just even past the first lap. And especially with the shock. That shock was huge.
Yeah, early shock coming into TS. I didn't see how many Australian players they got, but they got at least one with that target shock, and the double dodge from Azmak and Hideuka. It's just there's no way of countering it really. Like the only way you can counter it is by just getting the shock yourself.
Yeah, and that build pull from Japan just puts their Japanese bagger Sebas at a big advantage because he knows he can just run right through boxes, no problem.
Right.
And just hold ahead. So that is going to be enough for Japan to win up 61 now with only one left. Obviously, there are possible trolls, but I'm sure Japan will just have Sebas go forwards to eliminate that possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they would need like 2 trolling pens and the top 5 in order to win this match. Oh, the room goes down, so might just see a forfeit from Australia here.
Yeah, Australia forfeits last race, so they're closing the room. We'll get a Match 2 coming here soon with Japan being the hosting team.
The respectable go next. You know, why delay things? We know what the result is.
It's a smart play. I respect it from Australia.
Yeah, screw just getting tilted on a race 12.
Well, I think the two runners to watch that match and this entire series are Asmac and Barry.
Absolutely.
And with Asmac 136 and then Barry only 70 after race 11 is kind of the story of the war there and a big reason for the point differential. Barry, we saw hit a few good amount of snipes, but really was not in those top 2 positions really at all that war. Was mostly just it was really the Asmac show this morning. Asmac and then having a good amount of support from Hidouke with the 91 after those 11 races. Just a really strong performance from them in the front. And then Sebas getting just enough shocks to secure it.
Asmac, I think the main reason he was able to get just such a big breakaway on most races, he was never alone up there. There was always, like you said, Hidouke was often that kind of meat shield role for him, and all 4 of Japan's runners, very strong players, but kind of focusing more on getting Asmac to the front is a really good way to play. And then being having someone, one or two players just sitting behind him, able to take the hits and get the back spams off and such.
Wow, they couldn't even let Az just get the 140. they just couldn't bother. It just hurts way too much. And, I get it. I get it. But geez, come on, at least give him the chance for a 150, please.
I know.
Give him the satisfaction, bro. Come on.
But yeah, absolutely killer performance by him this morning. Probably one of the best we've seen this entire tournament, especially at this stage.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this team captain needed to do for them. Now, as I said before, Japan has been switching up the lineups a lot, and this match is no exception, with a few new players coming in.
Oh, God, I did not realize they didn't have Roast. They didn't even have Roast in game 1.
So now we got Asmac and Type, who we just saw play. Hidouke being subbed out.
What?
Pachu is now in, the great Pachu.
Oh my
and
God.
Yasuo, the Daisy player. And of course, my great friend, and probably, I think the best Japanese bagger to ever play, Roast is now playing.
Roast, my favorite. Oh, I love Roast so much.
I'm sure Australia hates him right now in this moment. This is not the greatest time to be. I mean, the game 1 response obviously not going perfect, but kind of brutal to have the response just in terms of your lineup structure be you didn't even see us at our strongest. Here's our final form in match 2 after already beating you by 60 or more points.
Yeah, this is potentially the best lineup.
I don't think Japan don't really have a strongest lineup though. That's the thing. They have every runner on their roster can do just as well. And we saw that match, obviously Asmac being the star of the show, but the other 3 runners all put in really good performances. As a whole, they were all just kind of playing their own role, and it just worked out perfectly for them.
I'm surprised they're not going with Hidouke again this match. He did a really nice job, really protecting Asmac that match. But
it shows they're very comfortable with the wide range of players they have, and I mean. Obviously, Japan as a region, I mean, when you compare them to older days, they aren't quite the same, but that doesn't take anything away from the depth that they have on this roster, at least.
Yeah, they could. This is really one of the rare Japanese this Japan team is really one of the rare squads in this tournament that can really throw in anybody and compete, which is pretty cool to see that they actually are doing that. They are rotating it up.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
So why don't we take a quick 2-minute break, 3-minute break, get some water, y'all, or a snack, if you will, and we can return back as soon as our players are in the room. It looks like they're joining. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go away, of course. Game 2 coming up. Don't go away.
Really strong performance from him out of the gate.
Yeah, and Japan with this 20-point lead using almost an entirely new lineup, and those new pieces have been doing a pretty good job so far. Yasuo 41 and Pachu getting 28. just entering this match, and we already said Rose doing a great job. Australia holding the same lineup with Solar, Berry, Verley, Nuclear, and Locky. And it looks like Locky bagged every race that last GP because Solar got 32 MVPing for the team.
Bag of points were 4-1 though, so I think Solar must have only bagged one, and in which case he must have done really good on the races that he ran.
That'd be pretty impressive if he did bag a race, but
We're gonna see
nevertheless, here
Roast
we are
getting
on to
into
race 5.
yeah, we're gonna see Roast in 10th as well. It's just Roast doing what he does best, and same goes for Asmact in first already, able to just run this Maple Treeway.
Yeah, Rose getting a very good few strats going. Got there about as fast as you could without giving up any extra boxes.
It's going to be a target power coming in onto Australia, allowing Asmac to just break away even more. And not able to connect with the red as well. Asmac just gone, like we saw a lot last match.
Yeah. Definitely within blue shell range still, but again, another big lead for Asmac. Getting a, so far, series low 28-point GP last in GP1, which isn't even that bad, but he has been absolutely killing it today.
Yeah, he's just so fast.
Yeah, he's been like his online speed, and obviously translates to offline speed, but it's just he's doing a really good job in the front.
Yeah, it looks like Japan are holding shock right now. Berry in second right now with a shroom, but it's not really anything that he can do with this. Kind of gotta hope that he doesn't get target shocked.
Do you see Roast all the way over here? Probably does have the shock.
Goes for the shroom off onto Yasuo and doesn't connect. Might see a shot coming in to take second here. Doesn't happen. Locky comes in and gets second. Berry getting shock rated on the line. It's gonna be bottom 2 at least for Australia. Maybe even a bottom 3. Looks like Berry got 6th.
Yeah, just another dominating race from Japan. Really just the story we've seen this entire time. Just really dominating the front of the pack. And now with Roast here getting a majority of the shocks. Last match was about, I think Sebastian won the shot count, but it was a bit more even. But now Roast is just absolutely dominating, and this Japanese team is just having some smooth sailing now.
It's going to be a 1-3-4-5. To add on to their already 20-point lead, that's a really good position for Japan already after 5 races.
Yeah, this team is really, really playing to their strengths right now. Really haven't seen any big misplays so far, really from either team. The only thing that really stands out was that Bowser Castle 3 shock just barely missing Asmac. But even that wasn't too much of a misplay because Asmac just played it very well, took an incredibly fast cut, and got over the gap before he was able to get target shocked. But now we really haven't seen too many driving errors at all from Asmac specifically, or from anyone on this Team Japan lineup, and it's paying off because they are really putting themselves in great positions.
Yeah, the consistency of these players just is something else. I don't think it's kind of hard to beat that sort of consistency.
Yeah, and I mean this Australia team has kind of been like a scrappy team this tournament. Really not hasn't been rated too highly up until they started really beating the good teams like US South and Team Germany. But they've beat these strong teams before, so they do have the capabilities, but they're really just not getting enough shocks, and they're not sitting in the front enough.
Ooh, and Berry snipes himself off the wall as well. Pretty crucial mistake to be making early on in the race. Bomb comes in, but just flies past Asmac. It's going to be pretty comfortable top 2, especially with that Daisy in first. Just able to take the turns a little bit tighter, just helps them out a little bit on this track.
This top 2 target POW.
Very well dealt with by both players, actually. Able to keep that break.
You see Locky barely winning the bagging battle here, but bullets are brutal on this track. Could really kill any bagger's race.
Asmat gets taken out, which puts Australia into 2-3-5 with Barry coming in here. See, Locky and a star, so no shock yet. Oh, we see a rare mistake from Asmat clipping the off-road. Although Asmat goes into Mega. And that's just to cancel out any potential
Barry
Australia
sniping himself again.
Second time
Japanese
this race.
shock.
A triple dodge. And the back bomb onto nuclear.
Wow. That's a really risky play by Asmat. Going for that back bomb with two of his teammates right there as well. But looks like it's going to be a big, big race for Japan.
I mean, I'm just going to say it. Australia got completely robbed there. So looks like Locky was in 10th as well. Unless Roast just pulled it earlier on. I think that's just a really lucky race.
Because we did see Locky in 10th there, and with the bill being held by Types, unless he got it super late, it's pretty much impossible to catch the other bagger there, unless there's a real misplay. But
yeah, that's such a big race. And another 1-3-4-5, the exact same race as they got last time. Wow, that's just Japan really coming into their own this GP. Obviously, like, they had a good enough GP1, but
now they're just breaking away farther. And I see an Australia GIF in the bracket chat. Could see a troll here. And Japan's bagger Roast bumping Solar way into the off-road. Most likely while he was shrooming.
And if he's shrooming, then that's a pan.
Probably either a 5 or a 10. Not entirely sure. We'll get a word on that soon, but almost definitely a penalty off Team Japan. So Australia going to have a little bit of a break, but not going to put too much of a dent in this already 60-point lead, roughly 60-point lead from Japan. So once that penalty goes through, we'll let you know how much it's worth. And we go into RBC. Halfway through the war, Australia needs to make a move here pretty soon.
Yeah,
they're kind of in the same position they were in last war with, Japan getting a big race right before that's halfway point. And they really just could not muster anything up. And Japan just had that really, really strong GP2. And it looks like they're going to do pretty much the same thing here.
58 at the halfway point is a really big lead, and you see them already in top 2 as well. So it's gonna be difficult for Australia to kind of deal with this. Like, it looks like Japan just have every single bit of momentum on their side.
Yeah. And we see one bagger breaking away off that little wall hop strat.
Australia pulling the blue early on, that's honestly more likely to make a difference than most of the blues that they've gotten so far, actually, because allows them to take out, even if it's just one player early on, gives them a lot more presence in the front.
Well, we saw Barry waiting to throw that until after set to get Yasuo, but Asmak's still in first, and the Solar in first now, I think. There's another blue regardless. Oh no, that was Yasuo still.
Wait. What just happened?
Must have dodged a blue before. But Japan's still top 2 after 2 blues. So even still, Australia's having a tough time. Shock red comes there.
In. Well, yeah, we did see a bagger very far in 10th, so pretty not surprising to see an early shock. We see Australia in 1-3-4 right now. Good position.
So well used shock there by Locky. Nicely called there, getting that shock red off on, I believe it was Pachu. And a fib? Was that a fib snipe off Solar?
Oh my god, the Nanas on the rail just ruined Barry's race. And Solar, obviously, it looks like he must have just got bumped off by his teammate.
Wow.
It's very well
played. Nice play there.
It's just...
That's going to send that 1-3 down to bottom 2. Barry now has the bill. Locky is in 10th, so still very salvageable for this Australia team. See Locky now just touching a box and going forwards. So another Australia shock, I believe. And still a lot of potential in this race for Barry.
See a Bill in
Hoping
fifth as
that
well.
Solar
This Bill
has a
will take him
dodge.
up to first.
Uses the Bill.
Solar dodges in a Mega. Yeah, this is looking really good for Australia. Nuke was already up there as well. This is potentially a top 3 for Australia. Kind of
We'll see what
not
happens
the
in the
right.
mid pack. Whatever Solar got as a chain is going to be very important.
Yeah,
Especially if Nuke is able to hold the second, and he is.
This
Top
isn't what we've been
2.
seeing from Australia until this point. They've just kind of been getting outran and not able to do too much with shocks. But that was really well called shock.
Yeah, 2 well called shocks there by Australia, getting top 2 at either 4 or 5 off of whatever Solar was able to get. But Asmak making that huge play into lap 2, I'd love to see that from his POV at some point, because that really took out the 2 top spots of Australia and forced them to use another shock. Fortunately for Barry, able to get that bullet. And top 2, 5 and 7. Lucky getting the bonus point as well for the bagger. So Australia is slowly creeping back. Like I said before, they do have that small penalty coming in for them at some point.
Yeah, I mean, like, if the penalty goes in Australia's favor, that actually helps them out quite a lot. Like, even if it's just a few points, it's a lot easier to make something, and it's a lot closer. It obviously makes it a little bit closer.
Yeah.
And you want it, like, if you're Australia, you just want it to be as close as possible at this point. Like, you don't want Japan to keep piling on the good races like they were. And getting a like significant like amount of points that race on RBC, definitely helping them out a lot.
Yeah, that brings Japan's lead now under 50. But now with 5 left, they need another winning race here.
Yeah.
Almost the identical position they were in last war. And they ended up losing GP3 as well. But now hoping for this track pick with their spots, and it's going to be going to Japan for Gardens. So not what Australia wants to see at this point in the match. With Barry here starting in first place, see what he wants to do. Probably just going to end up going through the set.
If you're Barry here, yeah, you just run. Try and break away, although it's inevitable that people are going to be shrooming up behind you. It's very hard to keep first here. Asmak hitting a mid-spot box and not pulling shrooms. I think we see Solar taking the cut and able to get into first early on.
Yep.
With Verley being the only Australian player at the back.
See Lockie once again going backwards. Doing very well in his one forwards race this GP. Getting, I believe, second or third.
Yeah, he got second in one race, I believe. Yeah, this
rotating strat, I mean, it's worked for them in these past few matches. It's worked against good baggers before when they had played against US South against Bobby. But right now against these Japanese baggers, I mean, Rose has really just had a stranglehold in this match, with the exception of that RBC race, really.
Doc comes in early, and it's gonna be Asmak dodging up by the looks of things.
Yeah, that's a nice play by Japan. The way that this team functions, with how strong they are in the front, using these early shocks to get up there, especially with Roast bagging now, and likely going to be able to hold 10th going into the next set. This is almost always the right play for them.
And would you look at that? A star in second from Asmak. That's just perfect.
I know, with a power item in a top 2 spot, part 17 right now. I mean, he has just been up here with stars and shrooms almost every race we watch him on.
Yeah, just such an unstoppable player.
And now we got Yasuo doing a little bit of schlagging here. And Asmak trying to go for the bagger there, but I do not think
he was in a star, so
yeah.
kind of just wasted a
Still
little
a
bit
nice
of time.
play. Might as well, since he's going to get into first anyways.
Yeah, no, it's obviously didn't lose anything from it. So, and it looks like
about a touch of box in 10th, Lucky chaining in 9th. I'd say the odds are about 50-50 for whoever gets the next shot.
I've got taken out, but it's going to be 2-3 for Australia by the looks of things. Unless we see
Barry's able to hold this. Last second shot coming out from Australia. See if it's able to catch Asmak. Not going to be enough, but likely a winning race here for them in 2-3-4. Assuming Solar is able to hold this down, he is. And 6 for Verly. So 2-3-4-6 for Australia. Another small winning race. They are not getting the dominating races that Japan has been able to get when they win. But slowly and surely catching Japan.
They take every small win that they can get at this point, but
Yeah.
you've got to shift into a different gear and like go from these like +5s they're getting to getting these
Yeah.
plus like 25s.
I think that's like only like 9 or so. I'd get if I had to guess. Top
Around
2, 3, 4,
that.
6, 9. So
Around that.
they're chipping away, but they need a better pace if they want to win now, because only one GP left. For those of you just joining us,
if you're like Australia here, you just need to gather as much momentum as possible, even if it's from smaller races, which they are getting right now.
Yeah, and I mean 36 now down, and we still have that impending penalty. So their lead could either be 36, 31, or 26, depending on how that's going to be ruled. And I think I don't know. I really don't know what the exact rule is when it's a bump like that. Being streamed into the off-road, I believe it's 10.
I think it's 10, yeah.
So if it is, then this is very, very winnable for Australia.
It's a close one for sure. Like it feels like both teams. There's not really much between them this time. It feels like Australia are actually playing significantly better than they were. It feels like I wouldn't put it past Australia to take this to a match 3. I feel like they have the momentum in their favor from the last 2 races. Yeah, they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, this is probably the best position they've been in that we've really seen this entire series so far. They're finally within striking distance of Japan. Only a little bit left, but they are definitely in a position here to win, especially if they can get their track pits this last GP.
Yeah, they do get the track pick of House Castle. Gonna be it's just a case of who makes the glitch out of Sola and Yasuo. It's both very strong Daisy players.
Yeah, a lot of this track depends on these first few turns, and of course the glitch. I believe Yasuo is very consistent at it, so
Yeah,
definitely Japan picked this knowing that he's able to do that. That and the fact that this is one of the more tech-heavy and skill-based bagging tracks, and having roast is definitely the advantage for Japan on top of that. So this is a really good pick for Japan.
early top 2 for Australia. Although, okay, there's Verly. He just disappeared off the screen for a bit. Hey, we're gonna see a Daisy making the glitch. Can't quite tell who that is. Looks like Yasuo makes it. But still a pretty comfortable top 2 for Australia. And if you even get 1 back onto Yasuo here, then it looks really good for you for the rest of the race.
Well, we've got Locky going forwards already, so this could be Australia's shock early on. Japan, Asmak using his dodge here. So yeah, I believe Locky just has shock already, and considering the position that Australia is in, could just end up getting held the rest of this race.
I mean, this mega could be huge if he gets the
unblock the cut. Yeah, very nice play by Asmak. Barry's just now getting blued, so this is going to mix things up a little bit, especially if we see a Daisy making the cut, which we don't think we do.
Yeah, neither of them take it, and it's going to be a top 2 4 right now, I believe, for Australia. Kind of just able to outrun Japan here. Not what we've been seeing so far.
Yeah, they've had a great start to the beginning of this race. Like I said, that's really one of the most important things now. That fit was right there.
That bib could have been something. It just kind of floated over to him.
Yeah, Australia was really able to take control of the race right at the beginning.
I expect to see a TS here onto Asmacked.
I don't think they will. I think
doesn't come in.
Australia's going to end up playing this pretty safely. We'll see in our other pop that Barry has a golden in 7th, and in this type pack is really anyone's game. And Types in his star dodging the shock. So I guess it was Japan's shock, but we saw Locky going forwards really early on.
Yeah, not too sure what's up with that. Maybe it was just a really good prediction because he did dodge frame 1.
Yeah.
That's still top 2 right now for Australia. Japan only able to make their way up to 3rd from that shock.
But 5-6 for Australia, bottom 2 now coming out for Pachu and another Japanese player. So
that's what, top 2, 5-6 for Australia.
Yeah, and 3 more races like that should put them ahead for this match. So
comeback is
at this rate, yeah, Australia's
very much on.
got it going on here. And this kind of turned into from a blowout into a pretty exciting match now. Top 2, 5-6, and Locky did get 9th, so getting that extra point.
Yeah.
Could end up being the deal breaker.
Even if it's just a 2-point swing, that's it. In a close match like this, you want to get every point you can. And we're still waiting on that penalty. We don't know whether that's been confirmed or not.
Yeah, we'll get a representative on that soon. Hopefully before the next match. I know this is an early one, so not sure if anyone's on the line, but
I'm just gonna say it now. I want to see a tie this match. I want to see a tiebreaker GP. I want this to go right down to the wire. You know, an ideal situation. This match is a tie, and Australia come out on top, and then there's a match 3.
That would be real. I would love that.
As
much Mario Kart content as you can. Inject it in my veins.
Yes, I need it. Okay, we're gonna see Groma Volcano, most likely a Japanese pick here.
Yeah, with these 3-4 spots, yeah, definitely would be something they would pick.
See Solo going backwards here as well. Interesting move, actually. I kind of expect Solo to be... Would you expect Solo to run this one or bag this one?
Yeah, this track is... Yeah, I would say so. This track is pretty similar to something like Gardens, where we've seen Locky do more of the bagging, but I guess because there's kind of a strat involved in this one, maybe they want Solar in it, but then again, Locky was on BC Wii, which has a lot of strats, so not too sure what the pattern is with pertaining to this track, but they have confidence in both their guys regardless. So
Blue being held by Japan while they are 1-3-4.
This Pow is going to likely take it out of him. Yeah, no hop dodge there. But now he's in a position to get shrooms and pulls the blue again.
The blue. Guess the Pow just meant nothing. He got it again.
Continue to protect. Barry getting back spam there. Nice play by Yasuo. Top 3 for Japan. Nobody taking cut though.
Nobody from Japan taking cut yet. We're gonna see 1 or 2 cut takers here. Barry and Verly both making it.
Looks like
it's gonna put them in 2-3.
Yasuo still holding first, but yeah, Australian positions to pull some shrooms here, and there's one right away. Doesn't have to chain any boxes at all. Instantly getting what he needs. We'll see if anyone has shock now. I believe we see Solar sitting there on the top path. Usually when someone's up there, they have to shock because it is impossible, pretty much impossible, for Rose to get up there to hit him out. So if that's the case, we do see Barry slowing down, and he's getting TS'd.
That is a Japanese shock.
So that is a Japanese shock, and this could be a top 2, potentially top 3, depending who this is in the cut. And it's tied. This could be a top 3 for Japan. This would be brutal for Australia.
That is a top 3.
Early shrooming up might not be enough. It's not going to be top 3 for Team Japan.
Top 3, 6. Yes.
Yeah, and 6. And that basically just erases all the kind of potential for a comeback for them. All the progress they've made these past few races is just gone through that race. And with only a few races left, it is going to be extremely hard at this point. I really thought I'm getting pranked by these baggers. I mean, the way Solar's positioned there makes me really think that he has it.
Yeah, but, I saw Roast going forwards and kind of just assumed that he had. And
then we see Barry kind of slowing down and, potentially trying to get into the cut with his teammate. just really kind of confusing. But then we see them getting
Yeah.
TS'd, and unbelievable race for Japan.
And by the looks of things, it's going to be Azmac just popping off again. 96 after 10. Not quite as much as in the previous match, but that's still an impressive performance. The consistency on this guy is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, a 44-point differential. I think that's based on the rules, so that's a -5. The gift that was posted in chat a few minutes ago.
Okay, so
thanks to Mason for putting that in there for me, because I would just get banned again. But yeah, so this lead is now in the high 30s for Japan. So this race is really make or break for Australia, because once they get over 41, then it's impossible to come back without a penalty. Of course, the top 5 being a 41-point differential.
Yeah.
So Japan needs to win this race, and preferably win it by more than like 9, because then they can keep Sui bagging, theoretically. Because the best race you can have with the top 4-9 is a 31-point differential. So they need something big here. That's what I'm trying to say.
So you see the move you pick, obviously a Japanese pick with them starting in top 3. Barry finding multiple ways to throw, and Azmac just being stuck in the mid pack. Pulls a mega instantly, though.
See Types there in second place, and Yasuo in
loses
first.
Bill by the looks of things, so it's gonna be a pretty comfortable 10th for Australia this race.
See Solar hitting a car there, but yeah, like you said, a huge break for him. Someone is way in 8th.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know what the deal is with that.
Solo loses the Bill, and the POW comes in, forcing Azmac into a mega.
I believe that's an Australian player, though, all the way back there. So if that is really going to be kind of bad news for them.
Yeah,
he's not able to come back. Yeah, he is. It's Locky.
It's Locky. Yeah, very bad positions right now for the Aussies. Oh no, Locky's here. It might be. I just can't see who it is in last.
Well, it looks like Solar was able to lose enough bills to make it close, but now we just see Rose dropping something to a car as well. So I think it's still shockless. Solar in 10th. 3, 4, 5 for Australia. They need to crack in that top 2 to have any chance at winning this.
They just need the blue at this point.
And if Japan does end up holding this top 2, they will be advancing to the grand finals of this year's World Cup.
Yasuo kind of just been... You wouldn't really expect, like, very often for a Daisy player to just be outrunning everyone.
Yeah.
Like, near enough every race.
And there's a dodge from Barry. It's going to be enough to pass Types. Not going to be enough to pass Yasuo. Azmac dodging as well.
Takes Barry into second. Doesn't get hit by the Fib. The Fib just disappears.
I think that's a 2-3 for Australia, but if Japan was able to get those spots after, it's just not going to be enough for them. And we'll get some results soon. Wasn't really able to tell too easily who got what. But now Rose battling for this 9th place, and that point really does matter at this point. But I think that is GG's with Yasuo front-running that entire track. Very, very impressive. Out of the 4 players in this running lineup for Japan, you really wouldn't expect Yasuo to be the one who's like been up there the entire time. But he has been killing it this match.
He's carrying the frontal presence, yeah. He's kind of been playing more of the Azmac role, if anything.
Yeah. I mean, Azmac still, I believe, is MVP in the war, but...
Yasuo
has been a great, great presence up there. And yeah, that 1-4-5 will be enough to secure it for Japan. Now...
Yeah, even with
whatever that penalty is going to be enough to put it out of range.
Well, if it's a -10, then Australia can still win, but I'm pretty sure, like, I haven't seen the clip, but from what you've described, it's probably -5, and if Australia top 5 this race, and it is a -5, then they still lose by 1.
Yeah, so if that is a -10, now we're speaking all hypotheticals. If it's a -10, then they're down 37 right now. And they can top 5 and win by 4, because the top 5 is 41. But I believe that penalty is going to be a -5. And if that's the case, then this is out of range for Japan, unless they end up trolling. So at this point, Roast should be going forwards here. And once he goes forwards, then it's an automatic win for Japan.
Well, yeah, it pretty much is. I saw this in an MKPS match yesterday between CB and LA. This track got played race 12 when CB had already won the war, and CB top 5'd on it.
Yeah.
just to rub salt in the wound. So wonder if we'll see the same from Japan
here.
here.
You see someone going backwards, and if that's Roast, and I think it is, he's got to be careful. Like, he's got to be real careful here. Because
Very
any troll could make the difference. This is really just not a smart play by Roast going backwards. He should know better to be going forwards at this point.
I think like the way that Roast is playing this is gonna work though, because he's just sitting behind the pack.
Yeah, and it looks
shock
like
comes
a
in.
ninth place shock.
Yeah, it's not a Japanese shock.
See how that affects things. See Solar in first.
3 right now. No, that's Yasuo in first.
Oh, excuse me, it is. And yeah, once he crosses the line here, that will do it for this match and for this series.
Congratulations, Japan! You guys have made the World Cup final 2021.
Nicely done by them. And another 2-0 sweep. Every match we've seen so far has been 2-0. Really strong performance here. And we see Yasuo topping off the GP. Fantastic job by this Team Japan lineup. I mean, probably some of the most consistent things we've seen this tournament so far.
Yeah, you didn't really see like any of them really making any mistakes at any point. It's just they've kind of just gone with like textbook gameplay, and it works out. So obviously, there's just the goal is to not do anything wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say about the Team Japan of 2021 really has eliminated all the weaknesses that they've had in the past. They had, really no experience with communication, and now they're playing a lot of scrims. They've got that down. They never really had a consistent bagger because they wouldn't play this format really up until a few years ago, and now they got one of the best in the world for them. They do not really have any holes in this lineup anymore, and they're going to be a tough opponent for whoever wins between US North and England. And it should be an exciting finals. And I'm glad that they're in there because they deserve it.
Yeah, it's nice to see. To be honest, I was completely fine like with either team making finals. They're kind of both underdogs in their own right. Like you wouldn't expect to see them. Like obviously, it's pretty well known that they're good teams. But going into this tournament, I don't think anyone really predicted Japan or Australia to make it to finals.
Yeah, I mean, in their group seed kind of heats, Australia was the only 2 seed that was able to make it to this semifinals match. They were ranked behind US South, of course, like I had said, beat them in that round to put them in a 1 seed position for the bracket. But they really were able to show what they were able to do. And especially from Barry, obviously going into this series with a 108-point average is just unbelievable. Really having very minimal high div experience, showing people what he's made of, getting 92 that match, which is more so what we've been seeing from him, those higher scores. And I think he was a lot of fun to watch this tournament, and I'm excited to see how he's able to do in his future in this game, because he is one of those up and coming guys that really deserves it and has worked hard at this game. So shout out to Barry.
It's not going to be long until he's playing in D1. Like it's a matter of just the right team picks him up.
Yeah, exactly. And then this Team Japan team, I mean, as matched with another high scorer, Yasuo killing it.
Yasuo,
their main Daisy.
Yeah.
And Yasuo almost really not making this Japanese roster, and has absolutely been an asset to this team. I'm sure we'll see him into the grand finals now. Only low score coming out from Pachu, who I believe really hasn't been playing too much lately, so going to cut him some slack there, but is really known as one of the premier Japanese players. And of course, my good buddy Rose coming out there and getting, I think, almost double-digit shocks. Really putting on a show today for us.
Rose just popped the hell off. Like, obviously, he's a comfortably top 5 bagger in the game at this point.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he's just been good for years. He's kind of revolutionized bagging as far as like Japanese play goes. It's kind of no one who's really put the time into it like him.
Yeah, especially in this past year, and I've gotten to know him. We kind of like exchange strats and talk about bagging quite a bit. So to see his kind of see him expand and improve this much, and get the spotlight tonight is really nice for him. So I'm happy for him too. Him and Barry today. I think the two guys that really were able to show off their talents in this tournament. And I love seeing these guys in this tournament and on this stage and in front of all these players, these guys who kind of are able to perform. We saw it last year from Leops, and last year from LT on Team Ireland, I think was able to make a splash.
Yes.
I think those two guys were really the highlights last year, and I see these two guys I think are the highlights this year. And those are the things that I love seeing the most, are guys like this performing.
And then you just get obviously Asmacked putting in the show of a lifetime, especially in that match one.
Oh yeah,
like definitely the match of this series.
Definitely leading this team to this finals. Absolutely, probably the MVP today for this team in Japan.
Yeah, I mean,
really that super strong front presence.
He got 241 points across 23 races.
Yeah, I mean, that's dominating today.
That's insane. That's truly insane.
Yeah. Well, for anyone curious, that is a -10 penalty, not going to matter. So a 48-point win for Japan, but obviously the results hold true. So congratulations, Team Japan. Tomorrow we have Team USA North versus Team England to see who plays against Team Japan in the grand final. So I hope you guys join us for that. And I think that's all I have to say. If there's anything else you want to add, Signal.
No, you've got it covered completely. I think we've got a very good match on our hands tomorrow. Two of the strongest teams in the world right now playing each other tomorrow.
Yeah, a rematch of pretty much a rematch of last year's grand finals when it was US East and Team UK. A majority of that match is going to be the players from last year's grand finals. So definitely can't miss that one. And I hope you'll go there and watch me and Team North go up against Team England.
It's gonna be fun.
So should be fun.
Be a good game.
So yeah, I think that'll do it.
That's it.
On behalf of Endgame TV, I'm Mac.
I'm Signal.
And that'll be it. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks
Have a good day, guys.